All right. This is my presentation on my person of interest, and my person of interest being Dian Fossey. Dian Fossey was born July 16th, 1932, in the state of California in San Francisco. She died on December 26, 1985, in her cabin, Karoski, which was a research site in the mountains of Rwanda. This was a research site that she had kind of set up and, reside there within her following studies. So her profession, she first actually started out as a occupational therapist. Fun fact. She worked for several years in a children's hospital in Louisville, Kentucky. After seeing some photos from a friend on a vacation to Africa, she set out on this trip herself, where she wanted to, see the world and see this whole place. She actually, used like all of her savings, took out a loan, and set out on this adventure that ultimately changed her life. She met up with an archaeologist named Louis Leakey, and during this trip with this archaeologist, they had discovered her passion, which was for the protection and research of silverback gorillas. Later on in her life, she did go back to college and gained her doctorate degree in zoology. Specifically, she became a primatologist and a conservationalist, and she landed herself as an educator, a writer, and also a founder of few research centers and kind of a co-chairs person as well. Whoops. So her role in the whole conservation and study of this wildlife, she, like I said, she was a primatologist and conservationalist. She was most well known for her study of the silverback mountain gorillas and Kariba, Africa. So this is what set off everything. This is what she was all about. This is what, if you look her up, if you search her up on Google, this is what you'll find. You'll always see her, with these beautiful gorillas. After her first visit, she actually decided to do a long-term study in her little setup, after coming back to the States and, still working in as an occupational therapist and kind of diving herself into this passion that she had. She came back and this is what she dedicated her life to for almost like 20 years of just this study of these gorillas. Both of these studies, she had found amazing revelations about these gorillas. She discovered their gentle nature, their hierarchy system. She formed bonds with some of them too, and proving that these beautiful animals are not monsters. So this is where that quote comes from at the bottom of that image. This is from her book, Gorillas in the Mist. The Kariba groups taught me much regarding gorilla behavior. From them, I learned to accept the animals on their own terms, never push them beyond the varying levels of tolerance they were willing to give. Any observer is an intruder in the domain of a wild animal and must remember that the rights of that animal subside the human interest. So this is a little blurb from her book. This is basically kind of showing what she is all about, what she was really into, which is kind of showing that we as humans need to respect these beautiful animals, that they are important. They're not something lesser than us. They are something that lives on this earth with us, and we can't overpush their boundaries as if they are nothing, because they are not. They're beautiful animals. She had this particular gorilla that she was so fond and connected with. This gorilla's name was Digit, and unfortunately Digit lost their life to a poacher, and this just kind of sparked an even bigger fire in her to just further push against these poachers. Some of her accomplishments, like I said, she had written several articles, as well as she wrote the book Gorillas in the Mist, which got a movie adaptation. This book and movie shares the story of Dian Fossey, her adventures with the gorillas, she studied and found. This movie, I didn't know that this was about Dian Fossey, and that was kind of a cool connection that happened because I had watched this movie early in my childhood. It was one that was kind of I remember it being kind of sad and a little scary, but it was one that I really liked. And so I was just amazed that it was connected to this really headstrong of a woman. Later on, she became an honorary chairperson for what now is known as the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund International. This is a foundation dedicated to continuing her work of conservation of the gorillas and aiding the people who live by them. Not only was her work dedicated to the gorillas, but also the people who live around the gorillas. So this is some fun facts about gorillas and their hierarchy. Aside from some certain exceptions, most groups of gorillas consist of more adult females than males, one dominant male, and multiple adult females and they're young. So mainly there is one single adult male who controls everything from food, who sleeps where, what happens, the whole gorilla group does. This is who is in charge of everybody. So in those groups, the male and the female, they have their own dominance hierarchy. For males, there will be, that one dominant male who makes all of decisions. And for females, it's mostly based on their age, with some exceptions. For example, if the dominant male shows interest in a female, she may raise in rank. And if her child were to raise in rank, she may as well, which I found really, really interesting. I would like to thank you for watching this presentation. Here's my works cited. Please go visit these sites. They're really good. They have a lot more information that I couldn't cover, and it's a really good read of just what she did and what she put out there, as well as just this is kind of interesting to read the things that she had found. So I thank you for that.